Hello, this is Mr. Whaley talking to my forensic science students, and I'm excited about our new project that we're going to work on. This is a nutshell study. This is a crime scene in a nutshell. It's a 3D dollhouse style crime scene called a diorama, is what we call those kind of, an adult dollhouse, basically. Choose, study 3D scenes. That's what our objective is in general. You need to read these instructions. Always read instructions. These are some details about solo or pair work. Here's the details about the grade. I'm going to click on this template, and surely you know how, but you're going to show me that you have read something by changing it to blue. Don't leave anything red unless you haven't read it. Leave it red if you have not read it, but once you've read it, change it to blue. Some of this you will need to modify, like your room choice. You will need to change that to your actual room that you choose, your nutshell room, the place of your crime scene, and the year. You'll need to obviously change your name. If you're not working with a partner, you just need to put your name. What is our driving question or purpose? Remember, we're always doing the scientific method for all of our projects. This is our overall driving question, so this is for all of us. These are the same questions for everybody. You don't need to modify anything, just change it to blue when you've read it. What happened? How do you know it? What could explain your hypotheses? And today, the first early part of your investigation, all we're going to be working with is know. How do you know? We're just going to be following a plan for collecting data so that we can decide what happened and explain why we think that. But first, today, we're just worrying about how do you know? We have to do that before we jump to conclusions. In this row, forensic science learning targets that this project demands, I just want to highlight this one right here because this is what I'm going to be checking every single day, working toward personal team goals every day. So in the exit ticket at the bottom, do not forget to complete your reflection at the end of the day on what you accomplished. That's how you will get your grade today, by not only doing the work, but recording that you're aware of what you have accomplished and what you need to do next. The next thing I want to draw your attention to is demonstrating safe practices, not just physical safety, but make sure your mind is right when investigating death and crime, and listen out for others in our class who might be in trouble as well. And please bring that to my attention, and just be aware. I'm going to keep scrolling down through this. You need to read all of this, of course. This is basically the reason. These are verbs that would belong in somebody's resume. Can you analyze something for some job that you're going to apply to someday? Well, here you should be able to say, yes, I can. I know that I can because of this nutshell project. This is what I did to analyze in that project. So that's what the white row is for. These are our objectives we need to learn in this class. Not all of these are going to be done today, but over the course of this project, you need to hit those targets. I just highlighted 2 today. Then when we get here, we see more red. So when you read this, you need to change that color to blue. And our research, I'm giving you guidance. So this is a summary of it. And then down below here is a list of hyperlinks where you can make sure you become acquainted enough to make your choice and to study and to collect data. We're not going to really get to processing the data with questions today. What is the question I want to investigate? So this is where you put your choice. You change that to blue and you put your choice of nutshell room here with the year that it happened right there. Your hypotheses. In the end, you're going to form 3 hypotheses, but you don't do that yet. You're not going to jump to any conclusion or even what you're going to test. If you want to jot it down lightly, just for your notes as you go, that's fine. But what I'm checking for today is, are you following a procedure right here? Research the room, identify it there, identify it again here, examine that room, and then step 3 and potentially step 4 is what you're going to work on today, on the first day. List your 7 items in your data table and recognize what type of clue each is. So I'm going to just scroll down that far. You need to read the rest of those instructions as well. But for this project, day 1, you need to focus on this column right here that I'm highlighting in blue. What is it? What are the evidence items? Describe their locations, positions, patterns, etc. Steps 2 through 4 from the procedure above. Don't forget to recognize what type of clue each is. So you can see on the first example, this was done by a student. Their clue was shotgun with string. They identified it by clicking this link. It's an observational type of clue, maybe a location type of clue. And you can already see they have processing questions, but you're probably not going to get to that today unless you're working with a partner, and they might work on that while you continue to expand your clue list. So here's blood splatter is another clue. They haven't identified what type of evidence is, but I would give this student a 100, or these 2 students a 100%, because they've completed the self-tracker. They just need to change this to blue. So this is how you change the font color to blue, showing they've done it themselves, and they need to, of course, type in what room and type in the name of their partner, or type in that they're working solo, and they need to list what things they did to do their research, and they need to identify what did they do on this particular day. Well, you should all be listing 7 items, but if you're working with a partner, you might say, I listed 3 items, my partner listed 4, or let your partner list how many they listed. Also in my last class, first period, someone also had formed 2 or 3 processing questions in addition to that. So that's where you put it with today's date. Here's a little outline for what you should talk about: researching, how did you research, what did you choose, and how many things did you list. So based on this, as I scan through what your work is today, I can give you a 100. But if you don't do this, but I do see some work up here, then I can give you a 50 and you can get it done by midnight. So that's all. Pay attention, stay safe, and make it whale money.